What's up, everybody? Welcome to the 34th episode of We Are One, You Are Two, a PlayStation and video game podcast. I am your host, as always, Robert Fanzo. I'm joined once again by the casual gamer known as Matt Rhodes.
Heyo.
What's up? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm hanging in there.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't need you, but I will remind everybody that we are, again, as I mentioned, a video game and PlayStation podcast where we talk with indie developers, we talk PlayStation, we talk video games. If you like what you hear, remember, we're on iTunes, we're on Podbean, which is really cool because they have their own app, so you can listen to not just us, but Kind of Funny, Rooster Teeth, any of those guys you might listen to. We're also on Google Play, Patreon, Stitcher, and YouTube, and I even put it on Tumblr, even though I hear there's some crazy things on there. We're usually on there by every Sunday evening, if not Monday. And so, Matt, we've got a great show lined up for listeners this week. We are going to talk about the rest of 2018 and the fall that's coming up because the weather's getting cooler, the games are getting bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, we're going to talk a little bit about a couple of things like God of War's audiobook, as well as Sony and some stuff from Gamescom last week as well that I'm super excited about. And so, and then, of course, we'll wrap it up with the blog, as we always like to do, or tie that in, I should say. And we'll also do our Metacritic game where I read a blurb of a review of a Metacritic game released recently, and Matt tries to tell me, based on what it is. So let's go ahead and jump right into it with what we've always liked to talk about, because I really want to talk about this week. What we've been playing, Matt. If you want to take the reins on that, you're welcome to, but if not, I'll gladly take the reins here.
I mean, I'll start it off with the usual, playing some Rocket League and playing some Fortnite. Good Lord. So they just updated Fortnite. I think it's 5.3 or whatever. This update is crazy huge. They've done a lot of new things. They've got some really cool skins. I also pre-ordered the Note 9, which through Samsung has a promotion with Fortnite that you get $150 worth of V-Bucks.
You've been playing this on your phone because you haven't been at home.
Correct. That's correct. I have been playing it on my phone, and I since I've been back, I have been playing on my console. But yes, I have been playing on my phone because they have a beta for Android through Samsung. Anywho, it's hard to play on your phone. It really is.
I was going to ask you about that.
The resolution is really kind of meh, obviously, as well it should be. You know what I mean? But there is, I don't know. Yeah, it's just like a weird thing. But I still won one game on my phone.
Wow.
I couldn't believe it. I was just like hiding and because I mean, it's hard to like really like engage, because like there's like lag and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's really kind of hard to really kind of come at people. And I saw this guy just falling off a cliff and he landed, he died, and it said victory. I was like, what? So through the stupidity of the other players, I won on my phone, which I thought was insane. But yeah, I mean, it's not an easy thing to do, but I did pretty good as far as like trying to get the daily challenges. If there were like eliminations, I was still able to get some things, some people killed and that kind of stuff. So yeah, it was just, it was pretty interesting playing on the phone, and it'll be more interesting when I get my new phone that's more powerful and has better, resolution and all that stuff, and to see how different that is.
Cool.
But yeah, so yeah, I'm excited. And it seems like they're doing some crazy stuff with Fortnite, so it'll be cool. And it'll be also awesome to have $150 worth of V-Bucks to just spend on bullcrap, just for buying a phone. Yeah,
I don't blame you. That's awesome. And I did see, I don't know if you saw that big giant box that has dropped in the middle of the field.
I didn't. I apparently I think there was an event for it, but I didn't realize that. Yeah, like I was playing the other day, and there was like this like lightning. I was like, "What the heck is going on?" And it was like this a bunch of lightning in the same spot for each game. And then I was playing it yesterday or today, and all of a sudden that same exact spot, there's like this big purple box. I was like, "What the heck is going on?"
Yeah, so I'm sure by the time we release this podcast, they may even reveal it, but we'll see. It is Saturday night, and we're going to try and get this up by tomorrow night, if not later in the week. And so by then it may be revealed, and all I know is the players are striking it, and it's launching them back or hitting them with lightning to kill them. So.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It happened live while Ninja was streaming. He was like freaking out because it appeared right in front of him while he was streaming.
Wow.
I think that's probably a conspiracy on the side of Epic and Ninja are in cahoots together, right? But
I don't know about that, but
I'm kidding. I mean, but it is funny that
it would not surprise me that there was a like the rocket launch. There was an in-game kind of like launch time, and I remember I think it was one of the guys that I listened to, either Camping Rusher or the Llamas, or one of those YouTubers was mentioning something about there being an in-game event, but I didn't really know what it was.
Well, now you know, my friend.
That's what it was, yeah.
Now you know. So that's basically what you've been playing then?
Yeah, what have you been playing, Robert?
Oh, sweet Lord. What haven't I been playing? I got back into We Happy Few, and I said I got back into it because I actually took a break, and I was playing Dead Cells, and I have been obsessed with Dead Cells, and so I've been spending a lot of time doing that. We're going to be interviewing her next week. I finished Forgotten Anne, and that game is beautiful. Like that ending, the whole game is beautiful. Rachel Messer's voice acting is superb, so I can't wait to talk to her next week. She'll be our guest on the show. And so I finished that, played a bunch of Dead Cells. I started some of what's called Death Gambit, which is like a roguelike, or not roguelike, that's Dead Cells. It's like a Dark Souls platformer for Death Gambit. And like I said, We Happy Few. So that's been mainly what I've been playing. I finished the Castlevania knockoff, Bloodstained Curse of the Moon. I couldn't remember it for some reason. A lot of like Metrovania type games. I don't know why, but that's been what I've been playing. Lots of good stuff. But yeah, that's really it, I guess, for me. Not a whole lot beyond that, though.
Cool.
Yeah, it's been enjoyable. I definitely highly recommend Dead Cells. I read somewhere that a whole run through the whole game can take between 30 and 45 minutes to finish. But the reality of it is that you're going to end up dying so many damn times, and it starts you back at the very, very beginning. That, you know what I mean? And so it's a pain in the butt in that regard, because I made it through like the first 3 to 4 areas, and then I fought a boss, and there's, I guess, like 4 or 5 bosses, and I died, and I have yet to make it back to that boss.
Wow. Because
you start back at the very, very beginning, you lose all your weapons, any skill sets that you had, and you start over. The only thing you get to do is purchase stuff, because it is a roguelike. And so it's a real pain in the rear, but I can't help it. It's like addictive.
That sounds like a game that is not for me.
Oh, it's so addicting though. Like, because you know why? You start grinding and you're like, oh, yes, I got this time. Oh, yes, I got this time. I'm going to avoid this area. And I started speed running it basically to get to the boss, because I started learning where to go. And I knew where even though it changes slightly, the general layout's the same. Because that's the other thing too. Some of the level layout changes. I was able to get through like the first 3 areas in like 4 minutes instead of 15 minutes. And so I got back to the boss. I just couldn't beat him. And so I imagine that's what the whole game's like. You probably get to the point where you can beat that first boss. You move to the second one. You move to the third one. You move to the last one. And it probably takes you like 15 minutes. And so that's kind of, I don't know, I guess the challenge of it and the joy of it. I don't know.
We'll see.
Yeah. We'll see if I'm still feeling that way next week about it.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go ahead and move into the news then. This is the PlayStation news. And we've got a few things going on here. So I thought we'd start with this first one because I'm super excited about this. And I don't know if you saw this one yet or not, but good old God of War is getting the audiobook treatment.
What?
Yes. Good old God of War is getting the audio. And not only is it getting a novelization, but guess who's freaking narrating it?
Who?
Alistair Duncan. You might know him as Mimir, the severed head that Kratos carries around. Can you think of a better person?
Oh my gosh. No, I cannot. That is awesome.
It's 9 hours long.
Nice.
I think I'm going to get it just so I can listen to him talk for 9 hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I don't need...
So is it told through the character of Mimir?
Well, from what I gathered, Cory Barlog introduced him, and it was penned by his father, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
And it's a novel that just tells the story of that game.
That's awesome.
It's just going to give us probably his experience, and probably, you know how he does the little side stories? I imagine he'll probably go on the side stories as, you know, Kratos is traveling through the Lake of Nine.
Yes. That would be amazing.
And so they're making a novel, and that'd be fun to read on its own, but forget it. This is the one time I think I might get the audiobook.
I love audiobooks,
you know what I mean?
Dude. I do. I love them.
It's amazing. And I don't know if you saw a picture of him. He kind of looks a little bit like Mimir. If you look him up, he looks a little bit like him.
That's good.
And so I'm super excited for that. I just thought that's an amazing thing. And if it was narrated by anybody else, I probably wouldn't be tempted. And I almost feel like Cory Barlog knew that. I feel like they knew. They're like, look, if we get anybody else narrate this, it's not going to be nearly as exciting.
Oh, yeah, of course.
As if we get Mimir, because who doesn't love that damn voice of his? So I'm excited. So the next news story I wanted to point out, and I wanted your opinion on this. Gamescom 2018 is basically over at this point, and yet we didn't hear a peep from Sony. Now, they never really hold a press conference at Gamescom. They haven't done it, I think, actually the past couple of years, if I remember correctly. And they even said that they really didn't need to have much. But what I thought was interesting was this news article, and this is from Sammy Barker over at Push Square, said that Sony was in danger of becoming closed off because they didn't have any kind of presence at this, and they haven't really said much since E3.
Closed off from who?
From the media, from its consumers, you know, that basically, you know, it doesn't feel like any of the big names even are interacting on Twitter, that it's just Sony's gone quiet. And I've wondered if you really think they're in danger of isolating themselves or not. I think they're just kind of putting their head in the sand for the moment, or not even head in the sand, but putting their head down, and just because they're working on stuff. You know, they've got a huge fall lineup coming, and not only do they have that coming for them, but right after that fall lineup is PSX. And so once all your big stuff's kind of revealed, and you know, if you think about what they showed at E3, they probably want something really spectacular for PSX.
Yeah.
And I also think that maybe they're a little quiet right now because they're still selling well. They don't need to speak up because the Fortnite thing might become an issue again. You know, and this article talks about how, you know, they would do tours of the PlayStation channel, and they would discuss, you know, Adam Boyes used to come to talk about stuff, and all this stuff here with all these executives, all the faces that we know that are associated with PlayStation, right? Shuhei and Sean Layden. He just felt like, I should say, you know, Sammy just felt like they've been quiet. I personally don't care, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I mean, how are they? I don't know. Maybe, how are they not quiet, though? They've got Spider-Man coming out. They have a console exclusive for that. They have the 500 million console coming out.
I agree.
Like,
I don't know how they're quiet either.
I mean, sure, that's more product, and not necessarily what's down the pipeline, but wow, how does that matter? I can understand the silence for sure about possibly, you know, not wanting to deal with the Fortnite thing still, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe if they speak up like, oh, people are going to start attacking them again about this Fortnite crap. So, you know, maybe they're waiting even longer for it to blow over, and then, you know, come PSX, they're like, boom, here's all this crap. And they're like, and then people are like really blown away.
Right.
And then it even pushes it under the rug further. But I don't think they're necessarily completely silent. I mean, given the stuff they have coming out.
Either.
But I don't know.
No, and I agree with that. And, you know, when I think of like some of the guys like Andrew House and Adam Boyes who have moved on, right? And even, Kaz talking about stepping down. I think right now, yes, Shuhei Yoshida has been kind of a face, but he's not a person to want to be a face, I think.
Yeah.
He's more in charge of just the studios and stuff and making sure they're coming along nicely. I think they also have been quiet because they don't really have a person that's a distinct face for them at the moment. Like, I think of Andrew House when he announced about Kojima, Hideo Kojima coming over, and him being kind of the face in that regard. I don't think they've been as quiet. I agree with you that, let's be honest, they don't need to make any noise. The only noise they need to make, quite honestly, for me is Spider-Man is coming.
Yeah.
And I'm more content with that. Red Dead is coming. And we'll talk about some of those games, and maybe that'll kind of bring us back to this in a little bit. So I just wanted to point that story out. I guess we just agree to disagree with Sammy Baker over at Push Square. Shadows Die Twice, also known as Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. I watched a gameplay trailer for this. The Prepare to Try boys did a 18-minute, gameplay experience, and it looks amazing. However, the pre-order page, people are now freaking out because it says it includes in-game purchases.
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
Yeah. However, that I don't know if I buy that because From Software typically doesn't do that kind of stuff. And so, I know it's getting published by Activision, so who knows? Maybe Activision's dipping their hand and doing something, but it's not going to bother me. I'm not going to care. The moment, seriously, have you watched any of that gameplay?
No, I haven't.
Oh, I'll just shut up and they can take my money. It's just a day one for me. It is like a faster, more exciting, driven Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Faster than Bloodborne even. It's more arcadey. You have a freaking grappling hook.
Nice.
You can die, and if you have had enough fight experience, or if you've had enough, I don't know what the meter is that builds up, you actually get a second chance before you die and return to like the bonfire. And so you can come back to life with half your health. And it looks amazing. And so I'm not worried about it. But I just wanted to mention that because people were freaking out because it's the internet.
What? People are freaking out on the internet, Rob?
I know.
Oh,
what
no.
am I talking about?
Oh, no.
Oh, my. All right. So moving on from that as well. This next one also got me super pumped. Finally, PS4 firmware update 6.0 will let you search the PS Store by publisher and genre.
What?
Oh, thank you. Also, you're getting rid of that stupid ass wheel, and you can just use the keypad to search for something.
What wheel? There's a wheel?
You know how it does like the drop down, you pick a letter, and then it tries to guess.
Oh my gosh, that was the stupidest thing.
Yeah, now you can just, the little keypad that pops up?
Yes.
When you press the touch pad?
Yeah.
Now that will be how you can search.
Thank you. Oh my god.
Oh, I know.
Lord.
It only took us 4 years into the life cycle and 6 major updates for them to realize that was the way, pardon my French,
right?
For you to be able to do this. Terrible.
Yeah. Dumb.
So glad about that. So, yay for Sony.
Yay. Indeed. Yay, indeed.
All right. Cyberpunk news.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this makes me sad. I love CD Projekt Red. Apparently...
Nice little faux pas, though.
Yeah, a little faux pas.
Faux pas.
Apparently, the Twitter account courted controversy today. This is from Heather Alexander from Tuesday earlier this week, which I somehow missed this news story, that CD Projekt Red's affiliated Twitter account needed to apologize for a tweet. It referenced an internet meme mocking transgender people. I did not know that. Oh, well. Whoops. Made a mistake. It wasn't explicit to me. They weren't trying to be transphobic.
Yeah. I mean, I get it to a certain extent. And of course, there was other, I don't know if it was Kotaku or if there was another article I saw about talking about boycotting it because of this. But, yeah, I mean, I think people make mistakes. People say things that are just kind of off the cuff and stupid.
Well, he clearly didn't realize that internet meme was going to cause that issue.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's just funny that people took such a tweet out of context, I guess.
Well, I mean, I don't necessarily think that it's out of context to a certain extent. I just think it's more about the fact that his ineptitude, maybe, or his naivete about the actual use of the meme,
Right.
is what the problem was. And I mean, let me say, I'll be the first to say that I am not the person to know about every meme. You know what I mean? Like,
No, me either.
You know what I mean? There's so many memes out there. There's memes I see. I'm just like, oh, okay, is that a thing? What? I don't know what that is.
We live in outrage culture where everyone gets upset over everything everyone says.
Yeah, I mean, I can agree with that to a certain extent.
Twitter's it was Twitter, and Twitter can be a funny place.
Yeah, for sure.
Because as someone who lives on the Twitter,
you do.
I do. I have a great group of followers, and I follow a great group of people. But I also every once in a while get one of those ones that kind of like sneaks in that someone's like retweeted for one reason or another, and it leads me down the rabbit hole. And I'm like, man, people are just angry with each other all the time.
Yeah,
like angry.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of a sucky thing to happen. I'm sure. I'm sure it wasn't intentional. Obviously, they apologized pretty quickly after that, from what I understand. It's just one of those things that you would hate to see it diminish the sales of the game just because of one little tweet, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, I don't think CD Projekt Red is going anywhere. This isn't gonna like break them down. It's not gonna, you know, if it affects sales a little bit, it's still not gonna like ruin the studio. But, you know, I did see, just one of the things that kind of was on my radar this week about, you know, this outrage of this kind of tweets, and I was just like, huh, interesting.
Yeah, and like I said, and we don't have to keep beating the dead horse. I really don't even get it fully. You know, like they tweeted somebody said they wanted more guys at Gamescom, and he said, "Did you assume their gender?" And I don't get it because it's not even explicit. The meme referenced is largely used to belittle or demean the concerns of transgender people, and so I don't even recognize that meme. Like I said,
yeah. That's the thing with me. I don't recognize it. But I mean, if it's used in a negative way towards transgender, I mean, that's not right. You know, I don't think that that's necessary for people to do. But yeah, it was just something that, again, I didn't know the meme personally, but
yeah, me either. And so I think it's the safest route here is if you just don't know something, don't bother using it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
Right.
You know, if you don't get it, don't use it. That's why if I saw that meme, I'd be like, I don't get it. I'm not going to bother.
Yeah, exactly. Because the last thing, like you said, down the rabbit hole, right? The last thing you wanted to do is someone retweet it or whatever, and they're like, oh, look what this dude said. He's transphobic. He's on our team or whatever. You know, I'm like, what? What did I just say? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I do have one last piece of news before we wrap it up.
Hit me.
I just pre-ordered the controller, the 500 million limited edition controller. That's more of a personal story, but
well, you know, the thing about that is that I ordered mine earlier this week, and as of right now, they're still available. Of course, the other stuff is not.
Yeah, the PlayStation, the consoles themselves went in hours, which is insane.
Yes.
I mean, obviously there was only 50,000 of them.
Yeah, which expected, right?
Yeah, so you're obviously it's a numbered thing. So like you have a numbered PlayStation. Obviously, people are going to buy that, pre-order it, probably resell it for a crap ton of money.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a pretty cool thing for them to kind of do, and those lucky 50,000 people are I'm sure super excited.
Yeah.
And of course, that's 50,000 more that Sony has sold. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, they aren't dumb. I think that does it for the news, right? We've covered all the big junk. Oh no, we got one more, don't we? No, we don't. That's I take that back. So in the interest of time, we're going to move to see you soon, and then we're going to hit up our topic and wrap it up with a game. Sweet. So let's go ahead and look at see you soon in the PlayStation blog.
See you soon.
All right, so I pulled up. Now, the awesome thing about doing this on a Saturday night is this is when they release the games for the upcoming week. And so this was just published yesterday, last evening, I believe. And so we've got drops. We've got a drop where we're not actually talking about games that came out the past week, but games that hopefully if we releases in time, right, for y'all, are coming out this week if you're listening.
Did you just say y'all?
I did.
Ugh. The South has changed you, my man.
But how did it sound is the real question. Because when I first moved down here, I was like a stuttering Stanley. I was like, y'all. And because I couldn't do the kind of like roll that's associated with it down here in North Carolina. But now,
you mean?
Yeah, it's a drawl, y'all, like slur. And my students would call me out on it. But now I say y'all in class and I'm just one of them. My assimilation has been complete.
I was going to say you have assimilated nicely.
Yes, I have assimilated. The assimilation complete.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure.
I am completely immersed in the Southern culture now.
Oh, fun.
But I would like to point out that most of the devs we've interviewed are in or around North Carolina.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. Skeletak, right? Kevin.
Yeah.
Natalie Rowers is, probably going to move to Charlotte next year. And so, it's just something about...
It's where it's happening, I guess.
And actually, I'd like to point out that Insomniac has one of their studios here in North Carolina. It's in Raleigh.
Oh?
And so I was thinking about swinging by there and knocking on the door and see if they'd give me a copy of Spider-Man.
Oh, I mean, why not, dude?
Or a tour at least.
Worst they can say is no, you know?
That's right. And that wouldn't be the first time someone's told me no.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. Maybe
even for this podcast.
Maybe I'll fly in. I'll visit you. And maybe we can see if they'll let us both in. You know what I mean? Give us a little tour and be like, hey, we're a small-time podcast group. You know what I mean? Let's
talk to you.
Interview. Let's talk. You know what I mean? Little
give us a little nudge.
Chat.
All right. So this is the drop. Some interesting stuff coming out this week. If you've got nothing to play, or if you're like me and you're just going to stick with Dead Cells, We Happy Few, and Death's Gambit, probably nothing for you because I've already got a backlog of probably like 70 games. All right. So this one is not the sequel to North, which I did play on my PS4. It is the trippiest game I've ever played. This one is called Bad North. It's PS4 digital. It is a charming but brutal real-time tactics roguelite. Well, guess what? I've already got one with Dead Cells. Defend your idyllic island kingdom against a horde of Viking invaders. Oh, maybe I will check this out. As you lead desperate exodus of your people. It's Viking.
What I love is your back and forth with yourself. I have such a backlog. Oh, I already have one of those. Ooh, this looks fun.
Yeah. That's how they get
just
you.
Just a slow transformation of, ooh, maybe, no. Oh, yeah, okay. All right. Maybe I'm
That's how they get you, my friends.
Hey. Well, when they use more than one sentence, it usually helps.
Yeah, they got at least two in there, so they must have sold me.
All right. Next, we got Blade Strangers, PS4 digital. A malevolent force known only as Lena is devouring data from a vast interdimensional network of servers overseen by sentient computers called motes. In desperation, the motes seek to awaken the Blade Stranger in the hopes of vanquishing Lena. Ooh, that looks...
I've got to say, there was quite a few 25... Yeah, it does look anime-ish. And also, there was a few 25-cent words in there.
Yeah.
Malevolent, devouring data, right? A little bit of alliteration there. Interdimensional network by sentient computers. Like, talk about a tongue twister.
I was very surprised that I was able to read that so smoothly because as I was like scanning, I was like, oh man, this is pretty highbrow.
I know. We don't usually get that on here.
I know. I was very surprised.
Now, what's funny is we went from Bad North to that really intelligent one back to Bow to Blood, PSVR digital. Take to the skies as captain of a powerful airship and discover a fantastical world of airborne gladiatorial sci-fi. Compete to become champion of the arena as its inscrutable overseers test you and your fellow challengers in a fantasy reality show. What? I feel like somebody just took a bunch of words and put them together.
Gladiatorial? What? Gladiator? Like, what is that?
Gladiatorial? Like, okay. Airborne gladiatorial sci-fi. Inscrutable overseers test you and challengers in a fantasy reality show. What?
I guess it's like, I don't even know.
He was like, what two words don't go together?
It's a PSVR. I mean, I don't know.
That was the meeting for the description. Okay, Johnny, you write this description. Pick 2 words that no people would ever put together. I got it. Airborne, gladiatorial, sci-fi. Excellent. How about anything else you can think of? How about if we call it a fantasy reality show?
All right, on to the next one. This will be much more simple, I'm sure. Catch and Release, PSVR Digital. Catch and Release places you on a beautiful mountain lake and lets you freely explore and row around while you choose your fishing spot and take in the scenery. Ooh, Catch and Release.
I feel like we had one of those another week. This one's VR. Maybe it was just for PS4. I swear we had another like fishing one.
I think it was a fishing one, but I don't think... I mean, it was not called Catch and Release. I would have remembered that.
I might try that out just because it's VR.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a beautiful little scenic kind of a thing, relaxing, you know?
Yeah.
Go fishing and be bored on your couch instead of being bored on the lake, you know?
Mm-hmm. All right, this one's out Friday. Playbook, PS4 Digital.
Ooh.
Playbook is a unique world made entirely of clay. I would have never guessed that. Every inch of the environment can be shaped and molded. Everything has matter inside it, not just an outer shell. Clay can be liquid or solid. It can be deformed and destroyed.
That's actually pretty clever.
Yeah.
If everything's malleable, I don't know. It would be kind of interesting to check out.
Now, see, that would have been cool, right? They should have used the word malleable.
Yes. Well, I mean, you can't always have 25-cent words, you know?
True. I'm bothered with the parallelism of this sentence. Because it should be, every clay can be liquid or solid. It can be deformed or destroyed. Or it could be liquid and solid and deformed and destroyed. Not or and then and. That's just bad sentence structure.
Oh my gosh, you know. It's a good thing you're in English, maybe.
All right, sorry. I couldn't get over that.
No, I don't blame you. It bothered me to the core. Next, we got Divinity, Original Sin 2 Definitive Edition. PS4 Digital Retail, out 8/31. Ooh. Hopefully this podcast will be out before the game. All right, gather your party and get ready for a fantastic adventure. Your imagination is your only limitation as you seek to restore Divinity and save the world. But beware, only one of you can become the new Divine.
I like it.
Yeah.
I did want to try the original Divinity, Original Sin, and I just never bothered.
Yeah. This next one looks interesting from the little art.
This one's for you. Donut County. And I actually, believe it or not, I remember seeing the developer tweet out about this, and I'm kind of excited about this one, but I probably won't snag it right away. PS4 Digital. Donut County is a story-based physics puzzle game where you play as an ever-growing hole in the ground. Meet cute characters, steal their trash, and throw them in a hole.
What?
It's. Do you remember Katari or Katami or?
Yeah, I was like, it's like a reverse.
Was it Katari? My Katari?
I know what you're talking about. Where you like collect crap as you roll around the thing.
Yeah.
Right? You like roll around in a ball and you like gather up things.
Katamari.
Katamari, yeah. That's it.
Katamari, that's what it was.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was thinking of, actually.
Yeah, that's exactly what it reminds me of.
Yeah. All right, Downward Spiral, Horace Station. Ooh, looks like a space kind of a thing. Anyways, PS4 VR, PSVR digital, Downward Spiral, man, I can't speak all of a sudden. I got all those 25-cent words and now my mouth doesn't work. Downward Spiral.
Mouthful of quarters.
Right, exactly. Downward Spiral Horror Station is a mysterious and atmospheric zero-gravity thriller set in the lost and forgotten Horace Station. Ooh.
All right. Ferns Gate, PS4, PS Vita, because it's not dead. Digital cross-buy. Yes, digital cross-buy. I love it.
He's only going to buy it because it's a cross-buy.
Don't knock it. I will. After awakening in an unfamiliar woods, Alex, an ordinary high schooler living in an ordinary life, learns he has somehow ended up in a fantasy world dominated by conflict and destruction. That almost looks like a visual novel.
Yeah, it does a little bit.
If that's true, I may or may not like it.
I don't know. We'll see. Alrighty, get ready for the next one. Fire Pro Wrestling World.
Yes, I'm so excited for this one.
Digital Retail. The greatest grappling game returns to take on the world on the PS4. In Fire Pro Wrestling World, customize every aspect of the match, from your wrestler to the ring itself, to fight your way to the championship belt.
I am so excited about that one. You have no idea.
Pretty intense.
Did you ever play the old school wrestling games? You did, right?
What do you mean? Which one?
Like the old
N64 stuff?
Yeah, and like and like what was the old WWF ones? Like No Mercy and stuff like that?
Yeah, No Mercy, WrestleMania 2000.
This reminds me of those.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you'll have to look it up. Firewall, 0 Hour, PS4 or PSVR, I'm sorry, digital and retail. In Firewall, 0 Hour, choose from one of 12 contractors hired by anonymous contract handlers and work as a team to either protect or obtain valuable data, housed on a laptop, and located in dangerous locations around the globe. Boom.
Boom indeed, Robert. Boom indeed. All right, we've got Gate of Doom, PS4 digital. Gate of Doom is a... Wait. Okay. Let me start over because I'm going to read it as it's written and not how my brain fixed it. Gate of Doom, is classic multiplayer action RPG for 1 to 2 players. Originally released in 1990 and a noted classic arcade title from the 90s.
With spelling from the 90s as well. And grammar.
No, what is that sentence? Originally released in 1990 and a noted classic arcade title from the 90s.
I like it says Gate of Doom is.
That is so redundant. Yeah. Is.
Classic
Gate
multiplayer
of Doom,
action RPG. They haven't updated that description since the 90s.
Apparently. I don't understand why they couldn't have just said a noted arcade classic title from the 90s.
Well, Matt, if you thought that was good, this next title of this game gets even better. The Golf Club 2019 featuring PGA Tour. PS4 digital.
The blandest title ever.
Well, not only that, but The Golf Club 2019 featuring PGA Tour.
Oh,
do you have what it takes to win the FedEx Cup on the PGA Tour? Compete in all-new, officially licensed PGA Tour career mode. Play on famous courses like TPC Boston, TPC Sawgrass, and more.
Ooh, Sawgrass.
Yeah, I remember playing that course on a lot of the old golf games that EA did.
Yeah, Sawgrass is a very famous golf course.
Yeah.
Haunted Dungeons, Hayaki Castle. PS4 digital out 8/30. Form your party of secret agents from among 4 races: human, Oni, Tengu, and Nekomata. Then conquer the terrifying and mysterious yokai-filled castle. Ooh.
Matt, I just want to point out, I peeked ahead. The games this week the amount of games being released this week are long as balls. This is ridiculous. All right. We'll try and get through these a little faster.
Scrolling. Holy crap.
Right. Naruto to Boruto, Shinobi Striker. PS4 digital retail out 8/31. The Naruto series is back with brand new experience. You can battle as a team of 4 to compete against other teams online. Lead your team and fight online to see who the best ninjas are online, where you can fight online.
NBA 2K19, The Prelude. PS4 digital out 8/31. NBA 2K19 continues to push the limits as it brings gaming one step closer to real-life basketball excitement and culture. Download NBA 2K19 The Prelude for free and get a head start on your My Player before the full game release on September 7th.
So now we're announcing free Prelude games.
That's kind of cool, actually. I mean, I would check it out. I mean,
they should do it for NHL.
It's like a demo, but you keep your, I guess you
progress.
Keep your stats.
Yeah. Pato Box, PS4 digital. Pato Box is an adventure fighting game inspired by Punch-Out. It's a surreal boxing quest with a duck. Okay.
Nice. Shikondo Soul Eater, PS4 digital. Shikondo Soul Eater is a Korean bullet hell shoot 'em up set within a beautiful and bizarre world of Asian mythology.
I'm not gonna lie, that just shot to the top of my list. Bullet Hell.
Yep.
All right. It looks like anime schoolgirls on the front cover, but it's a Bullet Hell beat 'em up. So go figure. Splash Blast Panic. PS4 digital. Splash Blast Panic is a multiplayer competitive party game where you must shoot, ram, dodge, and overall bully your opponents with a variety of water gun-based weaponry. Yes.
Strange Brigade. PS4 digital and retail. Sateki, the Witch Queen, has risen once again. That bitch. And only one troop of daring heroes can stand against her fearsome army of mummified monstrosities. The Strange Brigade.
All righty.
Mummified monstrosities. That's good. I like that. That's a good phrase. Good alliteration. Continue.
So this next one, I believe it is an iOS game. It did start out as an iOS game. I actually have a free code for this one that I won, that I have not cashed in yet. And so if somebody wants this on iOS, hit me up on Twitter and let me know. Sunless Sea Submarina Edition, PS4 digital. Take the helm of your steamship and sail for the unknown. Sunless Sea is a literary role-playing game of discovery, loneliness, and frequent death, set in the award-winning Victorian Gothic universe of Fallen London.
Ooh.
So the Victorian Gothic universe of Fallen London has won an award. I'm not sure what that would be.
Yeah.
But I do seriously have somewhere in my Twitter inbox, I have a Sunless Sea code that I would gladly give away if you reach out to me on Twitter and told me you listen to this podcast.
Sweet. Switchblade, PS4 digital. Fight your way up the season ranks to become my brain keeps correcting their bad grammar. Fight your way up the season ranks to become a online superstar in a spectacular future sport championship. Seamlessly switch between heavily armed high-tech vehicles at any time to create endless tactical choices in a frantic 5v5 battle to claim victory.
Cool.
This next one looks great.
Think of the children. Little Bobby's dead. The barbecue's on fire. Jen's eating poisonous berries, and the birthday cake still needs icing. It's just another wonderful day out with the kids in the Think of the Children, a frantic parenting simulator for up to 4 players.
There you go, Rob. Couch co-op to be a parent.
Yeah, like I really need that.
But I don't understand the building. Like, usually you only undercut things in comedy. So did they write the description to be funny? Because it's Bobby's dead, barbecue is on fire, eating poisonous berries, and birthday cake still needs icing. Clearly no one gives a shit about the birthday cake needing icing.
Yeah, I know.
If a little kid is dead. Anyway.
Well, actually, what bothers me about that is I don't think that's a complete sentence either. But anyway, I'm done. I'm done for the evening.
It's just a list. It's just a list of things.
It is. It's a list of phrases. There's no subject and verb. There's no,
All right, we'll keep going. Torn, PSVR digital. Torn is a dark science fiction mystery. Explore the abandoned mansion filled with strange machines and disturbing elements belonging to an eccentric scientist missing for 64 years.
Oh. All right. I might check that one out. It sounds really cool.
Yeah,
and it's in VR.
That sounds cool.
Viking Days, PSVR. You usually see Vikings in epic battles of fury and glory, don't you? Well, now find out about daily Viking life. Play through 10 different minigames to prove how much of a Viking you truly are.
There you go. There's another Viking-themed game for you, Rob.
I know.
Nailing it. All right,
Ridiculous.
We finally made it to the end. Here's the
And
last
I'm
one.
pumped about this one after playing the demo of Yakuza 6.
Oh, yeah? All right.
Yeah.
Huh? It's the same kind of game? Okay, anyway. Yakuza Kiwami 2, PS4 digital and retail, rebuilt from the ground up. Yakuza Kiwami 2 uses the Dragon engine to update one of the series' standout titles into a modern classic. Also new to Kiwami 2 is the Majima Saga, revealing events that occur prior to the game.
I'm excited about this one because they remastered the original Yakuza and called it Yakuza Kiwami. And then they remastered now the second one. This is Yakuza 2, basically.
Oh, cool.
And so if you have a PS4, you can play Yakuza 0, Yakuza 1, Yakuza 2, and Yakuza 6 on it. I think 5's on it as well. And so that just means you're missing 3 and 4. And so you can play almost the entire Yakuza series. And I've never played a single one. I started with 6 just to mess around with it. And it's like Japanese Sopranos.
Yeah. No, I mean, I know of the game. I understand what it is.
And so I really enjoyed it. I think I'm going to start with one.
Yakuza is the Japanese mafia, basically.
Yep. All right, that'll be it for See You Soon. So let's move on to our topic here. We're a little bit behind, but we'll hit our TikTok talk of the day, topic of conversation.
I mean, it's a small talk, so I feel like we'll be fine.
Yeah, I think we'll be okay. And so, not to belittle our talking abilities, you and I talked earlier this year about Game of the Year, and
we did, yeah.
What games were still to come, but we wanted to look at what is coming this fall and kind of just talk about how the hell we're going to handle it, because it is quite intense, and it starts in September with the Destiny 2 DLC, which you and I don't play, but I know that's a big deal. Dragon Quest XI is on a lot of people's lists that I know. And so that's exciting. And then, of course, you get the usual sports stuff. But Spider-Man, Shadow of the Tomb Raider are a week apart, right? And so that's a pretty big deal. Like, just that first 14 days of September, right? And I didn't even mention some of the other stuff that's showing up.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't remember it being this intense in years past. Do you?
I remember last year being intense.
Yeah.
And I can't remember off the top of my head right now. I'm drawing a blank on what it was, but it was pretty bad. Yeah, if you're like a Walking Dead fan like I am, they've got those episodes coming out. Life is Strange 2 comes out. FIFA 19, Dragon Ball FighterZ is on the Switch in September. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is on the Switch. And NBA Live, FIFA 19, NBA K219, and that's just September.
2K19, not K2, but
what did I say?
It's not. You have to climb the mountain to slam dunk or anything.
No. NBA 2K19.
Yeah.
And so, honestly, I'll be honest with you. Let's kind of just real quickly, if you had to pick three games,
be honest with me.
Yeah, I'll honestly be honest. You know what it is? I read so many of those blog drops where they repeated things 100 times that I'm suffering from.
Now we can't speak.
It's PTSD from reading that blog drop.
Yeah, I hear
like online. How many games can you fight online against friends online in this game that we only take place online? Like,
hey, did we mention it's online?
I know. If you had to pick 3 games out of September, out of that list, what would they be? Because I didn't even mention PUBG, which I swore that was already on Xbox One.
It is. I think it's a physical release, or no, it can't be. No, it can't be. I think it's already a physical release. I'm confused by that.
Yeah, I have to double check into that.
Is it one of those things where PUBG was like Fortnite, where it was early access?
Probably. And that's probably like, yeah, I think you might be right, actually.
And it's finally releasing?
Yeah, I think you might be right. So if you had to take 3 out of that September, what would you say?
Good Lord.
I mean, that might be tougher for me than for you, because I think some of those don't interest. I don't even know what Immortal Unchained is, and that's not a knock against them.
I just clicked on that to see what that was. That looks... check out this gameplay.
Oh, if it's gameplay, never mind.
Oh, you know what it is?
What?
It says Souls-inspired action RPG. So maybe we'll be interested in that.
Maybe it just won't. I haven't heard of it since or before now, and so I don't know that it's going to be anything to write home about unless they didn't have a name for it before and I saw something. But anyway.
Yeah. I don't know. Probably Spider-Man.
Yes.
Shadow of Tomb Raider.
Yes.
And, gosh, probably FIFA 19.
Okay. I would do the first 2, and I love FIFA, but I think I would probably have to go with Life is Strange 2.
Yeah.
Just because the first one I enjoyed so much.
See, I never played the first one. I mean, I think I got it for free, but I never actually played it.
It's so good. So that would be my choice. Let's look at October real quick, just to give people an idea.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not going to name everything, but you got everything from Forza Horizon 4, Fist of the North Star, Mega Man, Assassin's Creed, Super Mario Party. You got Call of Duty, Blops, 4, Lego DC Supervillains. You got
Did you say Blops 4?
Blops 4, yeah.
Just shorten it. Doesn't need to be Black Ops, just Blops 4.
Blops 4, Battlefield 5, Dark Souls Remastered on the Switch, Soul Calibur 6, Just Dance, for those nerds out there who still do that. And my wife does it. She loves it.
Alienating our audience, Robert.
I can say that, though, because I've done Just Dance in the living room many a day.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah. Finish in October strong.
If you had to take 3 out of there, I would probably go with... I'll start it since you went last time. I would easily go with Red Dead. I'd go with Soul Calibur 6.
Yeah.
And I would probably go with... Even though I don't have a Switch, I would go Super Mario Party.
Okay. Yeah, man, that's a tough one for me because Red Dead Redemption, for sure. I think I would have to go with Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Right.
So the last one's what's tearing me because I really do enjoy Soul Calibur. But I also really enjoy Battlefield series, man. I know it comes out. I know they usually come out with one everything, but usually the Battlefield I like better than Black Ops.
Yeah, same here. I'm not a Blops fan.
Yeah. But then I like every once in a while I like to throw in a WWE 2K19. I like playing some wrestling games every once in a while too. BT Dubs. In the meantime, I have been watching this gameplay of this Fire Pro Wrestling, and it looks ridiculous.
I told you.
That looks super fun, and it's going to be super awesome.
Yeah, that's a day one get for me this week.
Yeah, it looks so silly, but so awesome and fun. But no, I would probably go with Red Dead, Assassin's Creed, and probably Soul Calibur. I think Soul Calibur would win out over Battlefield for me.
Okay. Now, if you had to trim it down, let's do this. Let's take it 2 months at a time. If you had to trim it down to 3 from September and October, what would you go with out of the 6 you've picked?
Red Dead, Spider-Man, and Assassin's Creed, probably.
Okay, so I'm going to go Red Dead, Spider-Man, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Ooh.
All right. Okay. Let's move on to November. It gets even worse. Overkill's The Walking Dead.
It gets worse. Come on, guys.
Hitman 2, Spyro Reignited Trilogy, Fallout 76, Wreckfest, Darksiders 3, Artifact, Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom, which I'm not familiar with as much, Pokemon Let's Go. I think I named all of them. Ride 3, Walking Dead Episode 3. So lots of Walking Dead in November. I'm going to go with Fallout 76, Darksiders 3, and Hitman 2.
Yeah. It's probably the same. Definitely for the first two. I mean, I've already pre-ordered Fallout 76. That's coming to me no matter what. Hitman 2 for sure. And I don't know, this Wreckfest looks kind of interesting.
Yeah, that does.
Yeah. So, because I like Burnout Paradise that they just remastered. I liked the crash mode in that. I think that was really awesome. So I feel like that's just kind of like a whole game of that, which would be pretty interesting. Okay. So just to switch it up a little bit, expand my horizons, if you will.
Nice. Now, does that change any of your previous top 3 of what you picked out of the last 2 months?
You mean if we're combining all 3 months?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're going to keep doing that through December.
Of course, yeah, I don't blame you. Okay, yeah, I would probably it's going to be probably one per month. Yeah, it's going to be Spider-Man, Red Dead, and Fallout 76.
Yeah, and so I'll agree with you on the first 2. I'm actually going to throw Darksiders 3 over Fallout 76 in there.
Really?
Yeah, I watched some gameplay of that, and it looks like something that I just would need after being burnt out on the 2 big games of the year. Something a little bit more chill.
Yeah.
So then we move into December, and good Lord, does it get tough for me here. Because we got Just Cause 4, Persona 3 Dancing, Persona 4 dancing.
How do they have another one of those out already? Good Lord.
Persona 5 dancing. Super Smash Bros. And Walking Dead, Episode 4. Now, there are a few games, of course, that we don't know. I doubt they'll launch in 2018 because they haven't been announced yet, but Left Alive, Travis Strikes Again, No More Heroes. I think that was actually delayed to 2019 already. And then Yoshi, which I don't know that much about. So does December change your mind on any of your top 3?
As much as I love Just Cause 4, no.
Okay. Yeah, Persona's dancing series might be tempting, but I'm going to keep my top 3 as it is.
Yeah, I mean, I really do enjoy I do enjoy Just Cause, but overall, I think it's those top 3 for sure.
Yeah. And so I think that's interesting. I know a lot of people, you and I have just basically named some of the, you basically picked them, and I would say that I probably, let's be honest, I don't know that Darksiders 3 will have the impact that some of those other games will. Because if I look at that month that it's coming out in November, right, that was Darksiders 3, it's probably going to be Fallout 76 for a lot of people.
Oh, yeah, of course.
But I think that gives you an idea of how difficult this fall is going to be.
Oh, yeah.
And, I know people who Spyro is their most anticipated game. I'll talk to a few people who Dragon Quest 11 and, Soul Calibur 6 are their most anticipated games for the fall. And so I think there's something for everyone. I don't think anyone looks at this fall and goes, well, nothing there for me.
If you do, you don't play video games. You're just like, meh.
Hey, you talk to me about alienating the audience here. I would say if you don't, you better tweet at me, write at me, something, and tell me what the hell's going on that you can't find something in there. Because there's something for everyone.
You know what? Yeah, tweet us. We'll help you find it.
Yeah.
We'll help you.
Because if I have to, I'll make you play Persona dancing all night. Because, damn it, those games are fun.
Oh, you know what? The one thing I forgot about with Soul Calibur. Don't they have...
Geralt?
Geralt in there?
Yes, they do. And so...
Man.
Yeah, I haven't played a Soul Calibur in a long time, but that's calling me back for that reason.
Right?
So we'll see. I don't know if there's anything else to be said. It's a huge fall. You're probably going to be broke like we are.
Yeah. For sure.
If you're not, again, come talk to us. And you know what's crazy? This is the big game releases, right? This doesn't include the small stuff. And I'll give you a good example. We spoke with David Stanley and Yakuza Games and Shane a few weeks ago, if you've been listening to us. And they're hoping to release Skull Attack in the fall of this year.
Yep.
And so, no promises there, but that's what they're shooting for. I know that I'm super excited to get my hands on a full version of Skull Attack. I love the screenshots and everything he's been tweeting out. And so, while there are a ton of awesome big name games coming out this fall, there are a bunch of small indie games, I'm sure, that aren't on this list from GameSpot that we could easily include as being released this year. And you and I see them every week on the blog. Games that we've never heard of that pique our interest.
Yeah, exactly.
Games that we drool over, like Donut County was not on that list anywhere.
Yeah.
Or Dead Cells, I don't think was on that list anywhere either. And so, not for the fall, but I'm just saying as a whole. Hopefully, and I haven't heard from him in a few weeks because I know he's been busy working on it, but my friend Pedro.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I don't know. That might be coming out next year. We don't know. I'll maybe see if I can get kind of the inside scoop there. But that looks phenomenal too. And if that would come out, that'd be on the top of my list, and that would push something like, I would push Red Dead aside for that, because I know that that's a more compact experience, and I can enjoy that in a weekend.
Yeah. Man, I'm watching more gameplay of this Fire Pro Wrestling World, and it's, I don't know, man. I feel like I need to go buy this right now. It's so insane. Yeah. Just the customization, you can make the guy's head 150% bigger, and it just looks so silly and amazing. Yeah, I'm super pumped about it. Maybe we'll both snag it and do some sort of Let's Play with it or something. I don't know. I just can't wait. All right. I think that wraps it up for the talk. Yeah, so many things. Yeah. Yeah, we are small time, and we talk to a lot of indie developers, and so go check out their stuff. A lot of good stuff out there that's not covered on GameSpot or IGN that we try to highlight as well. And so,
we'll try to highlight them when we can, typically by playing it. And so if you're listening to this, the best way to get us to highlight your game is to let us know that it exists. Come talk to us.
Sure.
We'll play it. We'll talk about it, etc. So let's move on and finish up here. Let's do our Metacritic. We're going to call this Metacritic Madness until I come up with something better. All right, so these are, I've got a few blurbs here. I actually did one twice, so I'm going to read, when I get to that one, I'll read a more positive review about it and a more negative one. And it'll maybe help you out there. But I've got basically 3 games this week, as always. Let's see if you can get best of 3.
Okay.
See if you can get all 3. So the first one, and these are all games that have released probably within the last week or two. You ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Blank is easily one of the most fun games I've played this year, and it's hard to fault it, even at its most infuriatingly challenging moments. The game has incredible presentation, great level design, and is just as good whether playing solo or in co-op. If you're looking for a light-hearted Metroidvania or 2D platformer to play on the PlayStation 4, then you need Blank in your life. And I actually forgot to mention, I started this game the other day, and I'm absolutely in love with it.
Oh, now you confused me, because I was going to say Dead Cells, but you said the other day.
Yes, I just started it yesterday, in fact. True story. I'll give you a hint. The original was on the Vita 5 years ago. It was also on PS3, but I think you might have played it. I know I played it on the Vita.
Oh.
And so this is a sequel to a Metroidvania game that is a 2D platformer.
I'm stumped.
Stumped?
Yep.
Would it help if I told you that there was a chicken you could play as in the game?
What? You could play as a chicken?
Yep.
Nope, that would not help.
In the original and in the new one. Any idea?
No.
Guacamelee 2.
Ah, damn it.
Did you play that? The first one?
Yeah.
Don't you remember the chicken levels? Or how you transformed into a chicken for a little bit?
I don't. Maybe I didn't get that far.
Oh, man. I started it the other night, and it's so freaking good. Like, I'm only about 15, 20 minutes into it, and I love it already. I haven't even really got through, like, a fight.
I think what threw me off was Metroidvania.
I guess they consider it that because you do a lot of backtracking.
Yeah, I guess.
Like, I remember you go through the towns and stuff, right?
Yeah, that's true.
All right. Second offering. In a time where the expectation of a video game remake is constantly changing, it proves to be one of the best ones out there by imbuing its systems with new life and adding a ridiculous amount of compelling content. It speaks to the strength of both Blank and Blank as a whole, that despite spending endless hours in Kumarocho, I can't wait for the next opportunity to return and backhand some delinquent scum through the glass window of a convenience store.
That's Yakuza Kiwami.
Yeah, it is the second one, yep.
Yeah.
Did the Kumarocho give it away?
Nah, maybe a little bit, but then backhand someone through a convenience store window. I was like, that seems like something that would definitely happen in that.
Yeah, in the Yakuza game.
yeah, for sure.
Okay, so I have 2 more offerings here.
Ooh. And this is for the same game, right?
Well, yeah. Well, 2 of them are for the same game, and then I actually have another one.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
For the first attempt at a kart racer, so this is the one that has 2 offerings. Blank shows that the team behind it is talented, and they know how to make a genuinely fun game. There's a lot of joy involved in playing this one, and it's an ideal party racing game, particularly on the PlayStation 4, where there's no Mario Kart equivalent to reach for. If it wasn't for the infuriating AI, I'd even argue that it takes a step forward in a genre that Nintendo itself is almost painfully conservative about. And then here's the second offering of the same game. Blank is a relatively fun kart racer that has some good ideas, but it all goes a bit pear-shaped. Though it provides a decent amount of content, both in single and multiplayer, the waving performance, some iffy design choices, and a general lack of polish may spoil your appetite. If you're hungry for a simple kart racing experience on PS4, this may give you a bite of the cherry, but it'll sadly never be top banana.
It's pretty well written. I like that.
I love that one. The second one's fantastic.
Yeah. Crash Team Racing?
No, it's All-Star Fruit Racing.
All-Star Fruit Racing?
Yeah.
Oh, hence all the fruit puns.
Yeah, exactly. All right, last one for you. Blank clearly deserves its name. The gameplay mechanics are chaotic at best. The AI is plain dumb. The level design is muddled. The scenario is boring. Well, there's nothing to say here.
That's it? That's where it ends?
That's it.
Well, there's nothing to say here.
That's how it ended.
Okay.
And that's what I loved about it. There's nothing to say here.
Read the beginning part one more time.
Yeah. Blank clearly deserves its name. The gameplay mechanics are chaotic at best. The AI is plain dumb. The level design is muddled. The scenario is boring. Well, there's nothing to say here.
I don't know. Oh my gosh.
We talked about this one a few weeks ago. They deleted the adult-only scenes DLC that they were going to include. Do you remember?
Oh.
It was an angry first-person survival horror game set in hell.
Yeah. I don't remember the name, but
It's
I know what you're...
Agony.
Yeah. Agony.
And so when he says it clearly deserves its name, and then goes on the rant about it.
Yeah.
I loved it. Well, that is going to wrap it up for us.
That's it.
We appreciate you stopping by. I just want to remind everyone, we're on iTunes. We're on Podbean. You can become a patron of us on Podbean. You know what that means? That means for a mere $1, you can help us make our lives better. You know, don't make me bust out the Sarah McLachlan music.
Make our podcast better.
Yes, our podcast. That's what I meant by lives, because this is our lives. Right? You can make our... And I'll tell you what, if you do that, I will be so grateful, because it will make our podcast better. We'll hire more people that I can't pay. We'll get video going. We'll be good. I promise. But you can become a patron, and you get cool rewards and perks, too. So head over to podbean.com. Find us on We Are One, You Are Two. I include the link every week. If you're listening to us on Podbean, if you're listening to us on iTunes, head over to Podbean and find us. If you're listening to us on YouTube, you can do the same thing. Just head wherever you want to head and listen to us. Google Play, rate us, like us, subscribe, share us with your friends, share us with other developers. I'm begging you, please, anything. Go for it. You can do it. I have nothing else. I'm out of here till next week. Matt, we're out of here till next week.
Yeah.
We're going to have 2 interviews. We're going to do 2 interviews next week, Matt. I'll talk to you about that off air. We're going to play a lot of Fire Pro Wrestling World in the meantime. And if you're listening to this and you have an iPad, because I don't, or you have iOS, iPad, and you want Sunless Sea because it looks like an amazing game that I'm going to probably play on my PS4, just DM me or message me on Twitter, and I will gladly just mention this podcast, share it with your friends on Twitter, and I will give you that Sunless Sea code. First person gets it. Until next time, game on.
Game on. There was something in the beginning of the podcast that I wanted that I was like, man, I'm going to use this for the thing, and I just couldn't remember. It's garbage.
Oh, well. Maybe Dave will mix in some cat noises.
Yeah,
as
right.
like a remix.
This is the outro music for this week. Outro music. I'm just making something up. I wanted to do something different, but it didn't work because I couldn't remember what it was. This week.
That was so classy.